Right in the heartland of the Marcos dynasty, Ilocanos in Laoag City come out Sunday, March 27, for Vice President and Presidential candidate Leni Robredo and her running mate Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan. It is the first time Robredo's Ilocano supporters publicly show up in substantial numbers as they try to debunk the Solid North narrative of the Marcoses. The march comes 2 days after the Marcoses launched the local bids of their clan members, led by re-electionist Governor Matthew Marcos Manotoc and rookie congressional bet Sandro Marcos, son of presidential bet Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Jaja Raval, lead convener of Ilocos Norte for Leni-Kiko volunteers, says from just 8 people in October last year, the number of volunteer supporters in the province has grown to over 800. The volunteers say the North belongs to the Filipino people. Their goal is to give the Robredo-Pangilinan tandem at least 10% of the province's votes in May. Former Partido Reporma standard-bearer Panfilo Lacson keeps the support of 3 out of 4 of the party's senatorial bets following his resignation. Senatorial candidates former Police Chief Guillermo Eleazar, former Agriculture Secretary Manuel Piñol, and Dr. Mingita Padilla say they will campaign for Lacson but will not leave Reporma. Eleazar posts a photo with Lacson captioned, "Walang iwanan," on Saturday, March 26. In a separate post, Padilla says she would do the same, campaign for Lacson but not leave Reporma. Piñol also says in a statement of his own, "Principles are on the line here. I will not join the other group. I will stay here with Ping Lacson." The 4th Senate bet former Congressman Monsur del Rosario has joined Reporma President Pantaleon Alvarez in supporting Vice President Leni Robredo. Lacson's breakup with Reporma follows months of poor performance in poll surveys and, according to Lacson and Alvarez, after an 800 million peso funding dearth for poll watchers on election day.
Need more context, clarity, and perspective? Get the full picture with Rappler Plus. With exclusive content and events, you'll get an opportunity to discuss issues with reporters, experts, and featured guests while helping Rappler continue its fearless journalism. Join now.
Rappler submits counter-affidavits to the Office of the City Prosecutor in Davao City, denying accusations of cyber libel against the online media organization and its journalists. The dozen cyber libel complaints were made by members of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, or KOJC, headed by preacher Apollo Quiboloy. Rappler Regional Head Inday Espina Varona, Mindanao Bureau Coordinator Herbie Gomez, former researcher Vernice Tantuco, and Ateneo de Manila University Professor Jail Cornelio filed their counter-affidavits to the complaints on Tuesday, March 22. Complaints about violation of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 were filed by Quiboloy's coordinators and ministers on various dates last January and February 2022. None of them were mentioned in Rappler's series of exclusive investigative reports, news stories, videos, and editorial about Quiboloy and his KOJC. Former Supreme Court spokesperson Ted Te, who coordinates the case from Manila, says there was no libel committed because the journalists were just doing their job. Te adds, the only person who can actually file these suits are Mr. Quiboloy himself. No other person can because the articles do not refer to any person. Rappler's reports containing personal experiences of members of KOJC were consistent with allegations in an indictment unsealed in November 2021 by a federal grand jury in California. These narratives expose how KOJC members were forced to solicit donations for a bogus charity and funds were used to finance church operations and their leaders' lavish lifestyles. Quiboloy is wanted by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, and he and his associates have been charged with conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, sex trafficking of children, marriage fraud, fraud and misuse of visas, bulk cash smuggling, promotional money laundering, concealment money laundering, and international promotional money laundering. Pump prices in the Philippines rise again just a week after a major rollback. This as Russia's war on Ukraine reaches the 1-month mark with no conclusion in sight. In separate advisories on Monday, March 28, Pilipinas Shell, Petrogas, and Clean Fuel say they would raise prices of gasoline by 3 pesos and 40 centavos per liter and diesel by 8 pesos and 65 centavos per liter. Shell will also raise kerosene prices by 9 pesos and 40 centavos per liter. The new rates will be applied on Tuesday, March 29. Last week, the European Union once again considered a ban on Russian oil and gas imports, sending prices higher. The bloc, which relies on Russia for 40% of its gas and over a quarter of its oil, remains divided on such a ban. The Philippine government has begun giving fuel vouchers for public utility vehicle drivers. Poor households are set to receive a meager 200 pesos per month. Oscar's Best Actor winner Will Smith slaps presenter Chris Rock on stage during the Academy Awards ceremony over a joke about the actor's wife's hairstyle. Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, has a condition called alopecia, a disease that causes hair loss. Rock references the 1997 movie G.I. Jane, in which actress Demi Moore shaved her head. The incident first appears to be a scripted joke, but the theater turns somber later when Smith, back in his seat, shouts a vulgarity to Rock. Smith later apologizes to the Academy and to his fellow nominees as he accepts his Oscar for Best Actor for his role in King Richard. In a statement, the Academy says it does not condone violence. Meantime, Coda, a movie about a deaf family with a hearing daughter, wins the prestigious Best Picture prize. Released by Apple TV, Coda is the first film from a streaming device to take home the film industry's biggest prize. One of Coda's actors, Troy Kotzer, makes history as the first deaf man to win an Oscar, earning Best Supporting Actor. Jessica Chastain lands the Best Actress award for playing TV evangelist Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Jane Campion also becomes the third woman in the Oscars history to win Best Director for her dark western Power of the Dog.